Welcome to Ancestral Goa, or Bigfoot as it is also known. Bigfoot because the legendary imprint of the foot of a virtuous man whose character and penance pleased God so much that he was lifted to heaven is found in this place. Ancestral Goa offers you a glimpse of what Goa looked like and how life in his paradise on earth was a couple of decades ago. Behind you, by the side of the main entrance, is the fan of those times. A thick cloth tied to a pole was moved pulling the attached rope, thereby stirring the air to provide a cool environment to those seated below. Opposite that, you can see the palanquin, the mode of transport for the landlords. While the master and his mistress will seat in the palanquin, 4 able-bodied men employed as porters would lift it on their shoulders or heads and carry them. In front of you is a picture of Sant Mirabai carved out of a single laterite stone. Maendra Alvares, who conceptualized Ancestral Goa, single-handedly sculpts this image by using traditional tools. His labor of love has been recognized as the longest sculpture on a single laterite rock in India.
Let us go out to have a glimpse of life in Goa then. As you move in the recreated village at different places, you will be explained through the sound system. Legend has it that the entire Konkan stretch was reclaimed from the sea when Lord Parshuram, the 6th avatar of Lord Vishnu, shot an arrow into the Arabian Sea from the Sahara. The waters receded from the point where the arrow landed, and Konkan, including Goa, came into being. After this role, here is Demo welcoming you to his land. Let us take a look at Goa as it looked then. Is it because of what is covering me? Oh, this is the rainwear that we Goans use. Made entirely from a coconut palm leaf, it protected us from the rain and also the blazing sun. And it was totally natural and biodegradable. Weren't we truly eco-friendly? In fact, in the bygone days, we depended upon nature and consumed only natural products. And one of our favorites was fish. To your right, a little further, you can see 2 fishermen, one Hindu and the other Catholic, clearly distinguished in their attire, going with their nets to catch nature's bounty. Kashti, or the loincloth, was worn by us. Take a closer look at them. Behind, you can see the salt pans. Briny water from the sea was let into these pans, and once the water evaporated due to the heat from the bright sun, we got salt. Let us now move ahead to meet Pidu.
Hi, I'm Piddu, the local fishmonger. I sell fish by visiting the households in the village. I am easily identified because of the blouse with prominently puffed sleeves and a distinctly patterned flare skirt. You can now see a section depicting some of the houses and occupations along the coastline. Behind you, the coconuts on a simple implement called kubra. While the coconuts would be sold in the market, strong ropes would be made from the coir on a simple machine, which later were used to make various items including mats. You can also see some of the tools and implements used to pluck coconuts, repair rafters from the stem, etc., all nicely placed in the cupboard there. Sturdy enough to withstand the strong winds, it was made entirely with parts of the coconut tree. Fishermen did all their work here. Notice the various implements used by them, like the oar, the anchor, and don't miss the wooden needle used to repair the nets. A picture of fishermen's patron Saint Anthony is prominently displayed in the hut, and they would pray to him before venturing into the sea. Please climb the few steps to have a look at the life in the interiors, where the farmers or agricultural laborers lived.
climbing the steps, to your right is the house of Goan, with mud walls and cow dung plastered floor. Their traditional attire, kapod for ladies and kashti for the gents, hangs in the balcony. The kapod is a sari draped in a unique style and with a signature print in basically 3 colors. Goan's wife, Catherine, is wearing the red kapod as she cleans rice in her veranda. The satisfied farmer had a song on his lips and a cheer in his heart that was very often expressed through songs with a gumot, a percussion instrument made of an earthen pot that had one end covered with a hide as an accompaniment. Incidentally, the gumot was used by all communities for their celebrations. Up on your left is Martin, the toddy tapper. Returning home with the toddy in his pot and the kati, the special sickle used to prune the coconut fluorescence to extract the toddy, from which Goa's elixir, coconut penny, is distilled. Behind you is the kettle shed, which was there in most households. All the implements like the plough, the leveler, etc. that were required to till the land are displayed here. Each kettle head had a different bell tied around its neck, so that the farmer could identify it with the sound of the bell. Did you notice the different types of PDs used in those times? There they are in the glasses, made by rolling tobacco in the leaves of jackfruit, banana, kuda plant, etc. But most significantly, every cow shed had a tortoise shell kept on top, as it was believed that this shell had a calming effect on the animals. Note the mud and cow dung plastered pot, orgo, the thermos flask of those days. Next to the cow shed is the haystack, where the fodder for the ruminating animal was stacked.
Opposite the haystack is a typical Kaju Feni distilling unit. The cashews are collected twice a day by the family members. The women folk separate the nut from the apples and the men crush the apples under their feet. The juice is collected in pots for fermentation. Once fermented, it is put in the big pot and boiled. Vapors are collected in the small pot where they are condensed by pouring water on the pot, and the resultant first distill is called urak, which is a light drink and is mostly consumed during the summer months. Urak mixed with more fermented juice is once again distilled, and the second distill is the Kaju Feni, quite a potent drink. The nuts were roasted and kernel was removed from them by cracking the nut open, as the lady in the green sari is doing. From the remaining nut shell, oil was extracted from and used to waterproof boats and also as a pesticide. Ahead is a cross. Such crosses dot the Goan landscape as they were erected anywhere and everywhere, but with a purpose, either in memory of a person who died there or at lonely places, so that passerbys could get solace with the thought of all.
And sit and click a photo.
Take a photograph of you seated in it. However, you will have to be quick, as you have only a few minutes to do so. We have to move ahead to see some other facets of Goan life. So please hurry.
As it is considered to be a holy animal. This is the font Boca de Vaca, or mouth of the cow's spring. The spring fulfilled many needs of the villagers. While the animals waded in its waters to cool down, the women folk used it to wash their clothes and utensils, as we can see Shantu doing. A tub covered out of laterite stone to soak the clothes was usually kept by the side of the spring. Naturally available berries called rinto were used to cleanse the body. Let us now go ahead to visit Nandu, the village potter. In fact, in those days, the potter was a very important person. Here you can see the various stages involved in preparing the clay item, ranging from sieving the sand to polishing the final piece and baking it. Note the change in clothing at every stage of work, including the different attire worn by those marketing.
Next to Nandu's house is Inas's house. He is the local carpenter and his house doubles up as a workplace too. Here we can see Inas's wife feeding her child behind the curtain. The carpenters of those times amalgamated Western patterns with Indian motifs to prepare truly artistic furniture that is so fascinating even in present times. The tools of the carpenter's trade along with their clothes are on display. Behind you is the Goan shepherd called Dangal, who live in the hills of the Sayadris and tend to mostly goats, though they also have some cattle heads. At times, especially during the sowing and harvesting season, he came down to the plains to help the farmers, and in return took away grain for his consumption. The Dangal always carried a towel which doubled up as a turban to protect him from the blazing sun. It is a popular belief that everybody and every place has a guardian angel. Here, by the side of the steps, you can see a place dedicated to the protector of the village called Rakhanda. Whenever anybody would leave his village on a journey, 7 man were lit for his and his family's safety, while earlier small earthen fossils were offered. In present times, agarbattis and coconuts are offered to the Rakhanda. You may climb the stairs to visit the handicraft shop. But please make it fast, as you have only a few minutes before we begin the tour of the next section.
It's a shopping center. Inside Goa, Maendra. Window of 100, sir, each 100. No shopping. Not to shopping, and not Window of 100. Baba, item, I have to.
Welcome to Bairo Alto, a typical affluent section of a Goan village, where people, irrespective of their religion, lived in perfect harmony. Note Gangaram, a Hindu, to your extreme left, wearing a coat and a tie over a dhoti. Just behind him is Donna Pulgaria, with a drape called the old worn over her sari, and behind her is the landlord smoking his pipe in the balcony. Next, you see Abdullah, the Muslim, with his easily identifiable beard, just standing there, while Piki, the young girl, is taking in the beauty of nature with a deep red. Dressed in a flowing white gown, going for her walk along with a pet dog. Her domestic help is holding the umbrella for her. A little to the right, you can see Lata, a Hindu lady in the green sari, stepping out of...
Next to Lata's house is Shabdulim, the flower vendor, who is stringing the flowers into a garland. In those days, a lady's attire was said to be complete only after she had her hair adorned with flowers. Alas, nowadays, flowers are rarely seen on ladies' heads. Next to her is the house of Govind the weaver, and his services were much in demand in those days, as plastic was not even invented. He would weave baskets, mats, and various other items that were required at home or at work. To your immediate right is the bangle seller, displaying different types of bangles of different sizes and colors. Did you know that in the days gone by, in Goa, the phase in a woman's life would be known by the color of the bangles she wore? Black and white were for children who wore off the evil eye. Colored ones for young girls, specially shaped and colored ones for betrothed ladies, green for expecting women, and black for widows.
Let us now walk along Rua Ana Morin, where different people carry on their trade. Soon you will see Gonpot, the gram seller. The grams would be baked in the presence of the customers itself. Would you like to taste some? Then go ahead and purchase them if Gonpot's assistant is around. Bapu, the cobbler, hunched over, totally engrossed in his work to prepare fancy footwear. At times, he would also mend footwear, bags, purses, belts, or any other leather item. Behind Bapu's house at the higher level, you can see Anand's house, with the Tulsi occupying a prominent place in the courtyard. Here we can see Anand's family worshipping Lord Ganesh. Please observe the kitchen partitioned from the balcony where all the sweets offered during the festival are being prepared. Incidentally, Ganesh Chaturthi is the biggest festival for Goan Hindus. By the side of Anand's house, we can see the tableau depicting Samudra Manthan, or the churning of the sea to extract nectar that made the gods invincible in their battle against demons, and during which period Lord Vishnu took on the Vara avatar.
Rua Anna Marine leads to the marketplace, which in those days was called the Tinto. Tinto was also the place where all the news of the village or neighboring areas could be got. See how a theatre is advertised with its poster prominently pasted at the Tinto. To the extreme left is the village crier announcing the news of interest to the villagers. To the extreme right is the tax collector, who besides collecting the taxes will also take the requirements of his household. Behind you, the two laterite stone columns you see is what was called the neck. It was a raised platform to provide some rest and relief for people carrying heavy loads on their heads. The person would just slide the load on the platform, rest for some time, and then slide the load back on his head and proceed. They also serve as milestones. To your left, is the farmer Kashinath, who used to sit either under a shady tree or in the Tinto itself and give the men their haircuts and shaves. The Baba also had another important role to play in the village of making matches and at times also carrying tales. Go ahead and climb the 2 steps to enter Donna Maria's courtyard.
Music, it is said, runs in the blood of Goan. Mestri, or the church choir master, would give special classes to the talented children, as can be seen at his house at the extreme left on top. The most preferred instrument was the violin. In fact, the violin became so popular that it is now adopted in Indian classical music. Just on top of the Mestri's house, you can see a sundial. Correct your watch if you want the exact geographical time. Next to the Mestri's house is the Tabakaria or tobacco house. Tobacco trade was a major business, and that is why there were tobacco houses. In fact, it was through these tobacco houses that the postal service started in Goa. The huge wall is the font where the spring water is channelized through the mouth of the king of the seas, Lord Neptune. The water would meander through the village, ultimately ending up in the pond that we saw earlier. Turn back to meet Donna Maria and have a glimpse of her house.
Welcome to my house. I'm Donna Maria, a typical landlady of those times. Here I am seated in my balcony, enjoying the view of my garden with my pet dog Jimmy. My clothes are a combination of various cultures where the Portuguese had their colonies. My hair is styled the Japanese way. The blouse is a modification of the Chinese tunic. My skirt is an adaptation of the Southeast Asian sarong, and to give it an Indian touch, I have this dupatta on my shoulder. My house has a high plinth and a number of steps leading to it, not only to elevate the house, but also to provide a place for all others to sit and chat in the evening. You can see that the well is a part of my kitchen, so that my servants could easily draw the water whenever required. Note all the earthen utensils we used, not only for cooking, but also for storage, like that thorn there. You must have heard of smoked Goan sausages. Well, here you can see them hanging above the fireplace to get smoked naturally along with the onions that we use in our cooking. Thank you so very much. I'm sorry I could not serve you anything, but please go down the steps and stop at the Taven.
Swimming hole known as Taven, with a soda machine that was much in use, where the men folk would gather in the evening after the hard day's work to take a drink or two and also exchange gossip. This was the only place that offered entertainment, and you can see some people playing tabla, a game extremely popular then. You must be feeling a little tired after learning so much about ancient Goa. Well, stop at a tavern, not for an alcoholic drink, but a healthy drink of kokum.
Oh, this side only, right? This side only have to go.
जैकेट का आशोधन है। हमारा लहंगा दक्षिण पूर्व एशियाई में कमर पर पहने जाने वाले वस्त्र सरोंग का अनुकलन है और उसे थोड़ा सा भारतीय टच देने के लिए हमने कंधे पर दुपट्टा और ऊपर चढ़ने के लिए कई सीढ़ियां हैं। इससे घर को बुलंदी मिलती है और बाकी पड़ोसियों को बैठकर गपशप उड़ाने की जगह भी। आप देख सकते हैं कि कुआं हमारे घर की रसोई घर का हिस्सा है ताकि हमारी दासियां आसानी से जब चाहे पानी खींच सके। गौर कीजिए, हमारे घर में पकाने और भंडार में रखने के लिए भी इस्तेमाल होने वाले सारे बर्तन मिट्टी के थे, जैसे कि वो दौड़ वहां पर। आपने गोवा की सुलगी हुई सॉसेजेस के बारे में सुना ही होगा। यहाँ बिग फुट नामक पौराणिक स्थान पे आपका स्वागत है। इन 8 तस्वीरों द्वारा चित्रित की गई कहानी में आपको चट्टान में पाए गए पग चिन्ह का नाम इस जगह को पढ़ने की जानकारी मिलेगी। ये कहानी एक दौलतमंद आदमी महादर की है जो दयालु और उदार था और गरीब जरूरतमंद लोगों की मदद करता। लालची लोग झूठ बोलकर उससे खाना, कपड़ा और पैसे मांगते क्योंकि वे काम करने के लिए बहुत आलसी थे। ऐसा ही एक आदमी था पुरम, जिसने महादर का सारा धन चुराने की साजिश रची। उसने अपने ऊपर दुर्भाग्य आने का नाटक किया और महादर से मदद मांगी। महादर इतने दयालु थे कि उसे मना नहीं कर पाए, लेकिन उसकी लालच का कोई अंत नहीं था। वो और अधिक पैसे मांगते गया। महादर ने जो कुछ उसके पास था सब पुरम की मदद करने में लगाया। अंत में महादर के पास देने के लिए और कुछ नहीं बचा। पूरम ने उसे अपना घर बेचने पर मजबूर किया और वो पैसे भी हड़प लिए। महादर और उसकी बीवी बेघर होकर सड़क पर उतर आए। फिर एक दिन महादर की पत्नी बहुत बीमार पड़ गई, लेकिन कोई उनकी मदद के लिए नहीं पहुंचा। जिनकी मदद करने के लिए महादर ने अपना सब कुछ त्याग कर दिया, वे भी उसकी मदद के लिए नहीं आए। उसकी पत्नी मर जाने से महादर अकेला पड़ गया। उसकी मदद करता। उसकी निर्बल स्थिति देख भगवान उन्हें सपने में दर्शन देकर पूछते हैं, क्या तुम पूरम से अपनी संपत्ति वापस हासिल करना चाहते हो? महादर ने भगवान से पूरम को माफ करने की विनती करते हुए कहा कि वो अपने हाल में खुश है। उसके उत्तर से प्रसन्न होकर भगवान ने महादर को वरदान मांगने को कहा। तब महादर ने भगवान से एक छोटी सी जगह मांगी जहां वो खड़ा रहकर मानवता की शांति के लिए प्रार्थना कर सके। महादर की अधिक परीक्षा लेने के लिए भगवान ने उन्हें एक गर्म चट्टान दिखाई। महादर राजी खुशी उस चट्टान पे एक पैर पे खड़ा हो गया और कई सालों तक प्रार्थना की। उसकी आस्था से प्रसन्न होकर भगवान महादर को स्वर्ग में ले जाते हैं, लेकिन उसके पैर के निशान उस चट्टान पे हमेशा के लिए छूट गए। इस जगह का नाम बिग फुट पड़ा। अगर आप गुफा में प्रवेश करें तो आप महादर के पैरों के निशान पाएंगे। कथा अनुसार महादर को वरदान के तौर पर जो कोई सच्चे मन से प्रार्थना करता है उसे आशीर्वाद प्राप्त होता है और उसकी मनोकामना जरूर पूरी होती है। अपनी मनोकामना को तब तक राज ही रखिए जब तक उसकी प्राप्ति ना हो। कृपया अपने जूते बाहर छोड़ें और अंदर प्रवेश करते वक्त सिर नीचे झुकाकर चलें। चाहें तो आप अगरबत्ती जला सकते हैं। अगरबत्ती आपको काउंटर
national landmark captures Sant Mirabai singing devoutly to the Almighty, strumming on her iktara and measuring 42 feet by 15 feet. This monolith was single-handedly chiseled by the artist Maendra Alvares, sculpted in Greco-Roman style from a vast piece of laterite stone in August 1994 at Loutolim, Goa, in a record time of 30 days. In the halo and the face of Mirabai, one sees a tinge of Buddhist influence from the Gandhara school of art. But the kumkum on the forehead, the anklet, the patti on her wrists, and the paisana around the ankles give the sculpture a characteristic Indian appeal. One also notices a particular type of ornament called fulla, meaning flowers of gold worn by Goan Hindi women, distinctly adorning Mirabai's head. A lotus and half sun on the iktara add to the mystic of Sant Mirabai. This work has been cited in the Limca Book of Records as the longest laterite sculpture in India in 1996. India Book of Records, World Records India, and Unique World Records as the biggest laterite sculpture. The Indian Post has released a special cover of Sant Mirabai